Well, over the last week, Fresno City Council members have engaged in a back and forth over how the gas tax dollars should be allocated. Council members representing South and Central Fresno say they should get a bigger piece of the pot because it's their end of town that's been neglected for years. Council members representing North Fresno say everyone is paying for the gas tax and all road repairs should be treated equally. So, why don't we just hash it all out with our roundtable here? District 6 Councilman Garry Bredefeld joins us here, and District 1 Councilwoman Esmeralda Soria is here. Well, thank you guys for coming in. I know it's been a crazy week of back-to-back press conferences. And Esmeralda, I want to start with you because it was you and Luis Chavez and Miguel Arias that first came out and said the gas tax plan is going to be dead on arrival. Why was it so important for you guys to get out in front of this before the mayor even introduced it?
Well, actually, we got the document on Friday when the agenda becomes public. And so that's when we saw the document. We didn't see anything different. I personally, from day one of this year after I got sworn in, I said, we need to see equity in how we invest in our community. And when I saw the plan, I saw the same old. And so we felt that we had to speak out and tell the mayor that we needed something different. We needed a better plan that was going to address the years of neglect that has existed in the southern parts of the city.
Give me the backstory on this. Did you know that they were going to do that? And no, you didn't. So you guys quickly fired back. And we know your stance on it, but is it really class warfare here? I mean, are we politicizing this a little too much or no?
No, I think it was politicized by the press conference. They took an apolitical document, a document put together by the professionals looking at all areas of the city and all of the needs, and came up with where the money should go. And in fact, Esmeralda and the other two council members are getting the lion's share of that money. Northeast, Northwest was getting the least amount, and frankly, I was okay with it because it's a document that basically said, where does this money need to go? And so it got politicized by the press conference, and some expressed that, you know, the North should not be getting what the South is getting. And listen, I understand the needs all over the city, clearly in the South, but the people in my district pay gas taxes every time they fill up their tank, 12 cents a gallon. They deserve to have their streets repaired, and we have lots of needs throughout the city, including my district.
And Garry, you said in your press conference earlier in the week, you said Miguel Arias is a bully and he's disrespectful. Elaborate on that.
Well, I think he is. I mean, he's been there 3 months, and I've been in many meetings with him where I feel like he's pretty disrespectful. I think he's disrespectful to some of the other council members. I've told him so to his face. He and I, you know, knock it out. We've knocked it out on the council. He's a very passionate guy, by the way, and he cares about his district, and he's fighting for his district. We may differ on style. I respect the fact that he's elected to represent his people. He's fighting hard. I'm going to fight hard as well.
Can I chime in? Yeah, I want to chime in.
I'm coming to you. Don't worry. I'm coming.
Because I want to go back to the comment that you said, is this really class warfare? And was this politicized? I believe that it was politicized after, in response to what we were initiating when we said, hey, we don't approve of what is in front of us. I think that when you hear words like class warfare, these are tactics used by the right, rhetoric, you know, fear-mongering rhetoric, that really distracts from what the real issue is.
Or is it they're fighting for their district and for their residents that are paying the same amount of gas tax? One could argue that because, you know, a gas tax, we all pay the same gas tax.
Absolutely.
And maybe, you know, it's kind of like splitting up hairs almost. And you can't just say one should get one thing and somebody else should be treated a little bit different just because they live in a little bit better area.
Yeah, well, and I'm not going to argue with the fact that my colleague is passionate about advocating for his district and for him getting a share of the pie. However, we have to look at the greater needs that exist in the city. And I don't think that there's anything political about saying, hey, let's reprioritize these dollars. These are dollars that for the first time we are getting of this amount, and we have an opportunity to develop a long-term strategy. We know we have many neighborhoods in South Fresno, including one in my area, Highway City. I've been working very hard to try to get just basic infrastructure.
But Alex,
Let me say this. I know what you're going to say. I just want to point this out. Last year, the mayor was on just a few moments ago. He said that last year this was not an issue. Why is it an issue this year?
Well,
everything was passed unanimously when it came to road repair. Why is it different this year?
I think that there has been a change in the council. Elections have consequences, and now there is support to figure out how do we have a greater plan. For the first time, we are seeing additional investments. $10 million is a lot of money that if we look at the long term and think about long-term planning, this is an opportunity for us to do something different. Because I constantly get told by our public works directors, by the administration, we can't go put sidewalks because it's too costly. Well, every year we wait, the price tag is only getting larger. And I think that our kids and seniors deserve to have sidewalks in those areas, just like any other neighborhood. And if we had neighborhoods like that in North, and we do. Pinedale is an example of that. We said, yes, let's make sure that that neighborhood is prioritized.
Gary, what do you say?
Alex, when you pit neighbor against neighbor, community against community, it is class warfare. And there was an effort, and there is an effort, I don't know that it's from Esmeralda, but clearly from Mr. Arias, to take money from the North. In fact, I just met with him a couple days ago, and he said to me, in my office, we're taking the money. I said, no, you're not. He says, it's a done deal. It's not a done deal, but that is certainly his agenda. I don't know that it's the others. But when you hold a press conference and talk about North has this, South doesn't have this, we're going to take this money from the North, that's class warfare.
What I do want to get to, though, is, the mayor is going to meet with everybody, okay? And he's going to do it fairly soon, in the next couple of days. And then you guys are going to vote on this. How does this end? What is the compromise here? Because no matter what you guys say, Esmeralda, no matter really what you say, I know you're in favor of the mayor, but he's got veto power here. So what's the compromise?
Well, in my perspective, I believe there's an opportunity for us to plan for future years. So, for example, I'm okay if this year I get a little bit less, but I know that in the next 3 years, I'm going to get a little bit more to be able to fix Highway City. That's what I would be okay with. So we have to have a bigger...
Other council members that are with you okay with that too?
They want a strategy. If we can come up with a compromise where we strategize and we show that over the next few years, that's how we're going to spend our dollars, I believe that they will be okay with it. I just want to add one more thing. It's not about taking money from Fresno, for North Fresno. I've been supporting over the last 4+ years investments there. We have $120 million right now sitting in our city coffers to build out Veterans Boulevard. We have also just approved $15 million for the widening of Herndon Avenue, and we've supported that. So it doesn't mean that North Fresno is getting less. We're just saying, let's use this pot of funding that many of us, including myself, I advocated, and there was a lot of opposition from some of my colleagues, but I saw the need to make sure that we invested in the neighborhoods that have the greatest need.
We could go all day. This could be a city council meeting, but I got 30 seconds here. Finish it up.
Listen, whenever there are schools and there are no sidewalks, as Councilmember Arias said, that's unacceptable. And we all need to come together and address that problem. This was not the way to do it. They were taking SB-1 money, which is gas tax that everybody pays throughout the city.
But real quick, she said she was willing to compromise, give me a little bit less this year, give me more next year. You okay with that?
I'm certainly willing to look at that. Look, we all share the same goal, which is to fix the city. My concern was it became class warfare when there was talk about pulling money from the North to give it to the South. We shouldn't do that, just as if we said, hey, we commit so much money to the general fund, we should get X amount of services. That's the wrong dialogue, and that's what I reject.
I got to cut it here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for allowing us to be here.
I appreciate it. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, we've heard a lot. We'll hear some more. Stay tuned. Sunday Morning Matters, back after this.